winners bracket. Not surprising, this team has been coming back each and every week and just doing so well. Really impressive play coming out from these guys, but now the up-and-comers drop Novoz. We're good, running that rogue lock Holy Paladin here in the finals, trying to make their name here. The gates are about to open.
Yeah, as you said, Jack's going to be looking for a sap early on, but with both targets and stealth, it's going to be hard for him to find it. Here, he's positions defensively here to guarantee the gateway, now crossing the center of the map. Looking for Asper or Majidin in stealth. He does land the sap onto Feli, not accomplishing too much. Does come close to Majidin here. Not seeing him. He might get popped out of stealth. Both players not being able to do it. The Invis is going to be fading here shortly. Throws down the Nova, goes for a polymorph. He's going to get Garrote silenced by Jax. Committing to the mage early on here. The Haunt getting thrown onto him as well. Feli Cake's already spam healing him. Asper looking for some early damage onto Jax as we saw in the previous series. And he already cloaked. Throws a blind onto Feli Cake's trying to go for an early kill onto Asper here. Or Majidin potentially, but Jax is going to have to use that advantage. He lands the sap out of the blind. Majidin down to 64% HP, but Citrix gets locked out on that solar beam. Jax with no Cloak of Shadows is dipping low here into the full Hodge, down to 30%. He's going to trinket the Hodge into a DR bash, down to 17%. Citrix has to bubble Avenging Wrath as well as Execution Sentence, and now Jax is just going to get cloned. They're going to wait for their CC to come off cooldown and just kill him on the next rotation.
Yeah, they forced Citrix bubble his trinket, Jax's trinket, so Jax is going to be in a lot of trouble the next time Feli Cakes has his Hodge. And like you said, they can just play as defensive as they want. Majidin can just spam out those polymorphs, Asper can just spam out those clones. Citrix getting caught into the deep freeze, the Ring of Frost coming up from Majidin. Anti-Jax could be in a lot of trouble. There's the full Hodge. This could be the game if Majidin and Asper can connect. They can get any follow-ups you see onto Citrix. Jax could just be dead. Evasion coming out from Jax there. No bash available for Asper, but Anti-Jax is doing anything he can to survive at the moment. Citrix still not out of CC. Jax getting cloned up. If Asper can get the clone onto Citrix, this could be the end for Jax. Zev's getting polyed up. He's not able to help Jax whatsoever. The bash coming out onto Citrix, bopping himself. Jax finally able to get that Cloak of Shadows. Going to get some heals from Citrix, but they're just getting everything. And Jax, Evs, and Citrix really can't get any momentum right now.
Yeah, defensive smoke bomb came out in desperation. Double Haltera on the DPS. They're going for Feli Cakes. He's getting denounced here from Citrix. The killing spree comes out. They're trying to one-shot kill him. He's got the execution sense. He's able to bring himself back up to 60% HP. Ev's getting spam polyed. Citrix caught in the deep freeze, going for the Ring of Frost. Doesn't seem like they're going to be able to connect it. Jax interrupting that with his kick and deadly throw, shutting down the CC chain, keeping his team offensive for the time being, but for how long the solar beam comes out. Jax has nothing left. He gets fully Hodge, and I think that's going to be the game. Denounces are flying in from Feli Cakes. If they have the half bash, they might be able to finish the job. Saved by the Light, giving him a little bit more time here. He's going to kidney Majidin. He locked him on Poly. He's not going to be able to blink out. Well-timed kidney shot to keep himself alive here. Citrix with his own Avenging Wrath, topping off his team here shortly. Feli Cake's actually getting full feared here. Unfortunately, he's dotted. It might end up breaking here, and it's going to. Asper Displacer Beast away, realizing that he is in a little bit of trouble here as Majidin spams the polymorphs relentlessly.
Yeah, Jax has his trinket up now, so he's not going to be as afraid. He's going to be able to trinket out of that Hodge and get up that feint when he needs to. And we saw last game, Majidin and Asper and Feloria actually ended up swapping to Zevs a lot. And there it is, Hodge going out on the Zevs, and it looks like they're turning their target over onto him. I'm not sure what finally makes them decide to do that, but pretty much every single game they've consistently started on Jax and swapped over on his Zevs, maybe just shutting down some of that initial pressure. Asper actually has his Celestial alignment coming up in around 20 seconds. Jax taking a lot of damage though, having a Cloak of Shadows. Citrix getting locked out on that Divine Light. The Root Beam now going on to Citrix out of that. Jax is still in a little bit of trouble. He doesn't have his Cloak of Shadows for quite some time. The DR Hodge coming out onto Anti-Jax at the moment. Jax just having no fun this game. He's trying to connect onto Feloria, shadow stepping over to Majidin, but he's just getting spam rooted over and over. And now he's in that full clone. They can get CC onto Citrix. Jax could be in a lot of trouble. He doesn't have Cloak of Shadows available for quite some time. Zev's getting cloned up right at the moment. Jax trying to connect onto Feloria, finally getting that kidney shot with that image out on him. Feli Cake's taking a lot of damage at the moment. Citrix going to use that Avenging Wrath, try to top off Jax. He's going to be able to do it. The DR Hodge coming out onto Feli Cakes right now. Sable the Light proc on him. He's going to use his Avenging Wrath, catching a huge heal on himself. The Deep Freeze, though, onto Citrix. The Hodge onto Anti-Jax. Citrix has to bubble in order to dispel that Hodge onto Jax. Citrix still has his trinket available for the next Hodge on Anti-Jax. But Asper doing a great job cloning up Jax at the moment, denying those incoming heals from Citrix with that Avenging Wrath. Well-timed heal though by Cystrix, able to
Ooh.
catch a huge heal on him at the moment. He's still in a little bit of trouble. Major using that Icy Veins, trying to get even more aggressive. Jack's down to 20% HP, the full bash on the Cystrix, and this could be the game. 10% HP, 11% HP, Cloak of Shadows coming out right at the nick of time, but Cystrix caught into the full polymorph. Jax needs to get away. He's able to get that Cloak of Shadows vanish off, and he's just going to be chilling in stealth till Cystrix can get heals on him. He's going to be completely fine because of that, but he has nothing left.
Yeah, Cytrix full root beamed, Anti-Jax hodged up. This is looking like the game. He doesn't have Feint up, no Cloak of Shadows. All three casters going crazy, 1% HP. Jack's going to be going down here on the first map in the Grand Arena, and still pretty convincing games out from our weekly income. I think there needs to be a strategy change from Dropped Novoz. This triple dotting kind of PvE strat is not going to get them a win here, I don't think, having played 4 games trying it out.
Yeah, I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure what they need to do to bring it out, but it is just such a convincing game for our weekly income. The setup just is always there, available for them, and regardless of the Cloak of Shadows coming off a cooldown just in the nick of time, it's not enough. It's not enough. And here we go, guys.
I'd like to see a Wrath of Lich King style play out of this RLP, where they go for like Fierce Sap on the Holy Paladin over and over. It can be harder to do with combat, but I think they need to use more crowd control. At the moment, they're just triple dotting, trying to out PvE the team, and it's not enough with double D Curse, constant healing from the Boomkin with Ysera's Gift, Flame Glow, reducing the incoming damage. They're just way too tanky to kind of rot them down. They have to go for a burst strategy, and it might be unconventional, but I think they could be capable of it if they execute it.
I'm wondering if in the future this team of Roguelock Pally could actually play something like Demonology, perhaps.
Yes, they have that available,
might
yeah.
work out a bit better for them. I know it's difficult as Demonology because you have to use, you don't have to, but a big advantage is having that Axe Toss from that pet. But I've actually heard of strategies as Demonology is using an Observer. So you actually have that spell lock, and then you have that more like one-shot damage instead of like the spread damage. And like you said, this team has double D Curse, which makes it a nightmare for them to actually get out their spread pressure. Just doesn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's
not at all.
Strategy.
Trying to jump in here. The next map chosen by Drop Novoz We're Good is Tiger's Peak. Here we go, guys. We're going to jump into the second map of this best of 5. Welcome everybody to Tiger's Peak, our weekly income, going up against Drop Novoz We're Good here in the finals. Though so far our weekly income, the previous GCD champions seemed like they're going to be holding on to their title, as these teams have faced each other in the semifinals, and now in the finals it looks no different. Can this RLP somehow find a way to take some games off of our weekly income? I don't know, man. I'm unconvinced at the moment, but I've been proven wrong many times before. Here we go. 5 seconds until these gates open.
Starting off on Tiger's Peak. Ev's obviously going to be looking to secure his gateway. Jack's trying to find a sap target early on. Asper going into stealth now as he crosses the center of the map. The Hurricane coming through to try and snipe Jax out of stealth. It's not going to connect. Does gain him combat, though. Jax is forced to cheap shot him. Full blind onto Fellicakes, going for a CC-oriented strat onto Asper here. Half Terror onto Majidin. He's going to trinket out of that. Sap Fellicake out of the blind, but Asper's the one who's pushing in. He pops the Celestial Alignment, trying to one-shot Evs here in the beginning. He's down to 70%, doing a good job line-of-sighting these early Star Surges, but Cytrix is going to get root beamed. He's going to Aura Mastery out of that. Jax getting swapped to into that full Hodge at 50%. Gets cloned up at low HP. Ev's going for some defensive fears onto Majin and landing them finally, fully dotting the entire team here. Asper down at 70%. Jax, though, looks like the one in trouble. Cytrix gets locked out on his heel by Majidin's counterspell. He's going to have to use his Cloak of Shadows and Hellstone to deal with this pressure coming in. Now a Deep Freeze on the Cytrix. Majidin looking to land a Poly. He's not able to get it. Gets shut down by Evs. Cytrix leaves the CC, tops his team. Fellicakes in the meantime using his Avenging Wrath offensively. He was able to top his teams, get a couple denounces out, and Majidin and Asper now on the defense, spamming the clones, spamming the polys, waiting for that Deep Freeze setup again here in 10 seconds.
And that was really not a good opener for Jax. I mean, Felicakes sat the blind sap, and even though he sat all that CC, Jax, Evs, and Citrix were still on the back foot. Jax still taking a lot of damage, getting offensively cloned up by Asper right now. Citrix still has his bubble and trinket available to trinket and dispel Jax if he needed. Jax actually also has his trinket available for this Hodge. He's caught into this full Hodge right now. Citrix in the polymorph. Jax deciding to trinket that, making sure he can keep up that feint so he doesn't get one-shot by Majidin and his Ice Novas. Majidin getting dotted up right now, taking a little bit of damage. Felicakes caught into that full Hodge by Citrix. Zev's deciding to use that Demon Soul. He wants to get offensive. They want to get this momentum and try to turn around the pressure, but Majidin and Asper just both sitting at 100% HP. Jax having a nightmare connecting onto anyone, and at this point, having a rogue on their team just feels like a little bit of a liability. Zev's getting cloned up. Jax doing everything he can to shut down Majidin's CC, but it doesn't really matter. Citrix getting root beam. There's the Hodge onto Jax, just sitting in the open, getting so much damage done to him at the moment. Gets chunked down to 40% HP. Citrix caught into that defreeze. This could be Jax Cloak of Shadows if he has it available. Citrix out of that CC. Jax is cloned up. I think he might have execution sentence into that clone. I'm not exactly sure, but that is the Avenging Wrath from Citrix. And out of that, oh my god, he gets fully polymorphed. Jax has to use his Cloak of Shadows because of that. He wants to get some offensive play with that Cloak of Shadows, but he can't. He just spam Fairy Fire now into the bash. He can't do anything. Citrix getting cloned up. Finally catches a heal on Jax, but Jax just having such a hard time connecting on anyone.
Yep, the DR kidney shot in desperation onto Asper. Zevs has managed to fully dot the entire team with Dark Soul, but they're not even taking any damage. Look at the HP bars, not even moving. Haunts on one player, Shadow Reflection being popped, but Jax is going to get cloned on it. Evs gets cloned on his Dark Soul. Once again, our weekly income shutting down the damage, looking for the kill now. Deep Freeze on the Citrix, Hodge onto Jax. Denounce is flying in over and over from Felicakes. Comet Storm going to connect. Jax preemptively evasioning, but there's not even a bash available. Citrix is choosing to bubble here in desperation to keep him alive, but Jax gets cloned up at low HP. That bubble is going to be falling here shortly. They're looking to switch the CC over. They get the half poly. Asper's going to be looking for the clone. He trinkets out of the kidney, lands the full root solar beam. Jax is still in trouble here. Evs gets polyed. He's going to unbound Will. Full fear onto Felicakes. Going to howl the DPS. Majidin trinkets out of that immediately to get the pressure rolling onto Jax. Into the half Hodge now down to 40%. Citrix in the deep, 18%. Gets the Cloak of Shadows off in the nick of time. Pressuring Asper a little bit here, but Felicakes has an answer. He's going to pop the Avenging Wrath execution sentence. Top off Asper. Jackson full retreat now with his team trying to run away from the damage that's going to be incoming here shortly. Deep Freeze available in another 10 seconds.
Yeah, Zev's getting cloned out, and you just can't get that damage out. I mean, he has some curses up right now. Asper actually getting fully dotted. The full fear on a Felicakes. This could be what they need to get some pressure and some momentum rolling. Asper just going to use that bar skin, though. Felicakes out of the CC. It's going to be no follow-up CC from Zevs, and he's going to be able to easily top off Asper. The bar skin's fading, but he's completely fine at the moment. Now Zev's getting swapped to, having to play a little bit defensive. Jax trying to connect back onto Asper. Asper just running away. Jax forced to run back to the pillar. He does have his trinket. Citrix still does have his trinket as well. But Felicakes has every cooldown available, and he has all game. He hasn't had to use anything, really, besides his Avenging Wrath. Finally, the full Hodge going out on the Felicakes. Asper taking some damage, but Ev's having a hard time actually getting damage out onto him. Finally, the Haunt comes in. He has that Demon Soul up right now, so he's going to be doing a lot of damage at the moment, but his HP just isn't going down. This is just remarkable how hard it is for this RLP to get damage rolling on Majidin, Asper, and Felicakes. Now Jax getting bashed up. Anti-Jax, I believe, does have his Cloak of Shadows yet. He is going to use it, so Citrix can sit these polymorphs for now. That was the Save of the Light proc, though, from Anti-Jax. Zev's once again getting spam polymorphed by Majidin. And Citrix using that Avenging Wrath. He wants to keep Anti-Jax offensive. The Adrenaline Rush coming up from Anti-Jax, but he gets cloned on that right away. Zev's getting spam polymorphed. Asper, Majidin just denying all of their damage with their spammable CC.
Yeah, Deep Freeze on the Citrix, Hodge on the Anti-Jax, our weekly income looking to end the game here. They don't chain the CC, though. The Solar Beam comes out. Citrix pre-freed him the Solar Beam, so he's going to escape the silence, keeping Jax topped off here, and he's going to go retreat, wait for this setup to fade. Celestial Alignment available in 50 seconds as we're looking for an explosive burst in that moment of time. Just spam cloning Evs, and now Jax for the time being. Felicakes getting Hodged. He is dotted up a reasonable amount, but Jax just can't connect to anything. Playing burst of speed and still unable to move. Trying to now kite defensively back to Citrix. Asper coming in here, the deep freeze onto Citrix, looking for the Ring of Frost. They're going to land the ring, and the clone overlapped. Citrix is going to trinket both of those diminishing returns immediately to top off Jax here. He wants Jax to save his trinket and cloak for the time later, maybe for an offensive push. Dampening finally ticking in here at -7%. Fellycake's positioned very far back, so he's not a swappable target. Fellycake's getting hodged now. He is fully dotted, but Evs is cloned up. Jax trying to connect onto Majidin, it would appear. He pops the Shadow Reflection, puts him into another kidney shot. Ev's pet forced to be sacrificed there. Haunts are connecting to Majidin, takes him down to 40%, but Fellycakes once again has an answer with that Avenging Wrath execution sense, but he's not going to have it for Asper. The killing spree coming out from Jax there in desperation to get anything done, but he's not going to. He gets rooted up there. Does get dispelled by Citrix, but now he goes into the full hodge. Actually going to swap over to Citrix in a surprise attack, taking him down to 60%, into the DR deep freeze down to 39% through the shield wall. The solar beam follow up into the 1 second bash saved by the light procs. He gets a big heal on himself in time, and this over aggression might be able to be punished here. A full hodge onto Fellycakes. Majidin down to 30%, has 1 block remaining. Haunt's going to connect, but Evs gets cloned up here. Jax can't connect, down at 36%. Fellycakes should be able to heal him shortly here as Jax gets cloned up. Asper rotting a little bit here at 13%, dampening. Citrix Avenging Wrath going to be fading here shortly, but even with dampening ticking, it still doesn't always help drop Novoz.
Yeah, part of the problem is Fellycakes just gets to sit back and spam cast heals as much as he wants. Zevs has to interrupt Cyclone, then he has to interrupt Polymorphs, and if he's not, then Citrix is just going to be CC'd all again. Because of that, Fellycakes is completely open to do whatever he wants, and that's why it's so hard for them to actually get damage rolling, because he has no interrupt for Fellycakes. The full Howl of Terror, though, going on to Fellycakes. Majidin taking a lot of damage at the moment, down to 40% HP. Fellycakes getting out that execution sentence, throwing out those denounces onto Anti-Jax. Jax taking a lot of damage, down to 40% HP. Citrix not in any CC at the moment, but Asper and Majidin are able to do a lot of damage to Jax. Jax actually using Smoke Bomb there on Asper. Asper down to 20% HP, 25% HP, gets bopped, as well as using that bar skin, so that was very well done, forcing some cooldowns with a well-timed Smoke Bomb from Jax.
Yeah, but now Jax has to retreat. He trinkets out of the hodge as Citrix is cloned up, and Citrix is a sitting duck for this CC. He's going to get cloned once again. Asper just camping him now into the root solar beam. Jax could be in trouble here. No cloak and no trinket, desperately trying to line aside, spamming the feint to get away from Asper, and Majidin. Asper getting Howl of Terror there on his clone. Spam feared by Evs. Good fears here. Citrix might be able to top him off. He gets deeped on his heel. Jax is still low. They land the full poly. He has to bubble it down to 36% here. Fellycakes looking like he wants to push in and end the game, spamming the denounces here onto Jax, poly onto Evs. Citrix doesn't even have the global really to dispel it, finally getting him out. The haunts are coming through onto Asper. He doesn't have Barkskin. Fellycakes is going to bubble to try and keep Asper alive here. The Dark Soul forcing a lot of cooldowns finally out of Fellycakes with 23% dampening. Fellycakes into the full fear now. He's not dotted. He might have to trinket. Asper has the Barkskin. He's choosing not to use it. He's going to bash Jax at 95%. Going to Displacer Beast away here. Deep freeze onto Citrix. Majidin looking to land the Ring of Frost here. He's not going to be able to land it. The haunt connects onto Asper. Finally, a little bit of time where they're scared here. Asper rotting down, Majidin rotting down, dampening at 25%. Ev's getting polyed and cloned at the same time, which is fortunate. He's choosing actually not to trinket out of it. He's going to sit through it, wait for their cooldowns to come up. He does have one more Dark Soul here, I believe, getting rooted out of line of sight a little bit annoyingly, but Citrix gets locked out. Jax gets hodged up, and that's probably going to be the game here, down at 22% HP, into the 1 second deep, not able to get the cloak off in time, and finally they were able to drag the game out to get cooldowns, but they still can't win even in dampening.
That's interesting, though I did see there was a lot of momentum games by Drop Novoz, and I wonder if that game, because in the interview, Majidin actually said that if they take it 2-0, then they're going to go and try to mirror them, or something along those lines. So, but that was different. That might have chilled up our weekly income, and we might not necessarily see a mirror. We might see these teams playing their main compositions, because I don't know if they necessarily want to bring it there.
Well, yeah, let's see if they go back on their word. That was a tough game. Well, we'll see. Maybe they will mirror them. That would be interesting to see. I think Citrix, Zebs, and Anti-Jax would welcome that.
They finally settled into the strategy of trying to CC Fellycakes at the end, and I really think they have to be doing that start to finish. They were able to land full fears. He wasn't dotted. He had to sit through it. full Hodges as well, and they were just pressuring Asper, and that's their win opportunity. If there is a win opportunity, it's with Fellycake CC'd and Asper kidney shot, use a counterspell or something to stop Majidin from polying you, and you've created a 3v1 situation, and you have to do that consistently. You can't just PvE and kind of expect to beat this team, because you're in a counter comp situation. You need a specific strategy, and you need to execute it perfectly to be able to come out ahead, and you could see them starting to do it towards the end of the match, so it'd be nice to see them start to finish consistently sticking to it.
Well, they are going to mirror them.
So what do you think is going to happen? If they lose the mirror, do you think they'll hop back on their Mage Boot
Hell
kit?
yeah, they are, man. $500 are on the line.
So it's like just an attempt to, like, I don't even know. Maybe they're just trying to play fair. Maybe they're trying to embarrass them. Who knows?
Who knows, man? I don't know.
They lose, though, and then go back to their Mage Boomkin Paladin. I'm going to laugh pretty hard.
But at the same time, if Drop Novoz were good at losing a mirror now, that's actually that's somewhat of a statement, if any.
Yeah, we'll see if it happens.
The next map chosen by Drop Novoz were good. Not that it matters all that much, considering it is probably going to be a mirror.
Wait, who plays a Warlock?
Let's see. What is Majidin logged into? Here, let me look at my real ID. Hold on. Asper is on the Warlock.
Okay.
And Majidin, I'm assuming, on the Rogue? Yep. Generic. Alright, guys. Do we got the thumbs up? Alright, we got the thumbs up. We are going to bring it to Tolvaron Arena. This will be the third map of this best of 5 series. And we are queuing up. Here we go. Who do I want to win? You know, it's kind of a toss-up. I really like the underdog story, but at the same time, Asper, Majin, and Flora have always been coming back and supporting GCD TV, so I don't really have a personal preference. I just really like good games. Here we go, guys. Tolvaron Arena.
And now it's kind of a confidence like shatterer if they lose in a mirror. Asper playing on Warlock, Majidin playing on Rogue. Fellycakes, which I assume is still Feloria, playing on his main spec at least. 1 out of the 3 players sticking on home base. We're going to have to wait and see how well they do in a mirror. I don't even know if Drop Novoz is experienced in a mirror matchup. Roguelock Paladin is not something you see a lot of.
It's a very good point, Suba. Is they probably didn't get much practice in playing this composition or even practicing against the same composition, so it's going to be interesting. But here we go, guys. 4 seconds until these gates open here in GCD TV's 16th final.
Well, let's see how they do. Mage Generic pushing in, Annie Jax both pushing in, trying to find each other in stealth right away. I'm not exactly sure what the target of choice. I think both teams will be swapping around a lot. Fellycake's actually getting sapped there. Asper getting Howl-Laterred by Zevs. Zevs getting opened up to by Mage Generic, the full kidney shot onto Asper. Adrenaline Rush coming out from Annie Jax right now, as well as by Mage Generic. Both rogues trying to go hard in the open with a kidney shot onto Citrix. Shadow Reflection coming out from Mage Generic. He's trying to get pressure rolling onto Citrix. Fellycake's actually caught into that blind, and it looks like Annie Jax and Evs are going to be looking to target down Asper and shut him down as much as possible. Actually, Fellycake's getting sapped there. Well done by Jax. And it looks like right now Drop Novoz has all the momentum in their favor. Asper taking so much damage, the killing spree coming out. Fellycake's going to answer that with the execution sentence as well as the avenging wrath. Annie Jax caught into that kidney shot smoke bomb. He's going to trinket right away. Cloak of Shadows doesn't want any of that, and he's going to be fine.
Yeah, Jack's rotting down to 50%. He doesn't have Cloak of Shadows. Citrix spamming these heals through, choosing not to use his Avenging Wrath for now. Feloria getting locked out. Asper is fully dotted. Mage Generic is fully dotted as well. Fellycakes is Avenging Wrath going to be fading here shortly as with his big healing. Jack's caught into a kidney, though, with no trinket. He might just drop! And our weekly income just smacking them, saying, you know what? I got an ult. I'm going to mirror you. You think I play an OP comp? I'm going to play you in a mirror and just wreck you. And I guess that's going to be it. 3-0 for our weekly income.
Damn.
That was a bit of a surprising end, but I guess that's quite the statement.
That is quite the statement. Our weekly income coming to GCD TV and just always here competing, doing so well. Even in a mirror matchup, they are going to take it 3-0 against Drop Novoz, and they are tournament number 16 champions. Congratulations to Flora, Asper, and Majidin. congratulations, guys. You have another GCD TV tournament under your belt, but there is a second place prize. Shout out to Drop Novoz. We're good. They fought quite well. They made it all the way to the finals, but there it is, guys. There it is. Thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out with us. Shout out to Our Weekly Income, Drop Novoz, We're Good, and everyone else that competed in tournament number 16. You guys, the competitors, are what makes GCD happen. So thank you guys so much. Also, a quick shout out to all of the people that have donated and subscribed to us. We got quite a few subscribers. Laser Chicken Live recently just subscribed.